Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Nona from thealliancelover.com. I have a soft natural video for you today looking at the style of Ellen Barkin. She has very sleek and sexy vibe, and I just want to remind you all that just because one soft natural looks great in a set of style guidelines doesn't mean it will apply as well to all other soft naturals. There is still so much variation within one group. So if you need help on your style journey, feel free to look up my services on thealignedlover.com. So before we get into the outfits, let's just briefly talk about Ellen's body and her features, what she needs to accommodate. So Ellen is a soft natural, and like all naturals, her skeleton has a dominance of softened yang, and softened yang can show up as broadness, as softened width, elongation, and a softened angularity, as opposed to pure yang, which has more of a very sharp angularity, a more narrow and straight quality to it. So Ellen, in her very soft yang frame, has the elongation and she has that soft angularity. She doesn't have much of that broadness and width. Sometimes she does pose with her shoulders at an angle so she looks wider or broader than she is. But if you look at her next to co-stars, she is quite narrow, and she also has the softness to her shoulders instead of that bluntness. So that just adds to the overall soft behind the soft natural. As for her flesh, she is very lean, but she has a very smooth quality to it. No bones or muscle stick out too much. It's not a dominant feature in her body. Her outline is quite smooth. She's got smoothness and lushness to her face as well. So just to hone in on the soft aspect between the soft natural, I am going to show you someone who reminds me a lot of Ellen. I think Ellen could probably play her mom. She is also blonde. She's also flamboyant natural. So before I go on to the next slide, try to give it a guess. So Ellen reminds me so much of Cameron Diaz. They're both naturals. They're both blondes, obviously. They have similar faces in regards to the shape of their face. They both have a more round face. Their face appears wider and then it appears tall. They have the same beautiful round white cheekbones, a very similar nose shape with the softly wide bridge and the slightly square tip, the same beautiful widespread eyes with a slight downward slope at the corners and the same wide mouth. Besides their physical similarities, they have that natural vibe. It's very fresh and athletic and confident, thick-skinned, strong, shoots from the hip, very direct, vivacious, and very, very funny. These women are very funny and just very sunny. So let's get into the differences between the soft natural and the flamboyant natural here. So there's only a 2-inch height difference between these two women, I believe. I think Ellen is 5'7" and Cameron is 5'9", somewhere around there. But Cameron looks a lot taller, so she has more of that elongation in her frame. She also has more of that broadness and width in her frame as well, and she has more of that muscularity to her. Now Ellen looks a lot more softer, more round, especially around the chest and the shoulders, and a little bit more narrow next to Cameron and shorter. So I think these two women are great examples of people having a seemingly similar shape and face and vibe, but one favoring one end of the family in terms of yin and yang than the other. So Ellen, like most soft naturals, looks best in natural fabrics and clean fitted shapes, body skimming shapes that show off the twists and turns and contours of her body. It's a simple but not minimalist approach. She looks great when items are strategically tapered and show off the contours of her body, but in a way that isn't overly tailored or overly calculated. And again, these tactile, soft, natural fibers just look so sensual on her. Her hair looks great when it's just a little bit undone, so nothing too polished or too exacting or too precise. There has to be a sense of effortless ease and a sort of earthiness to really bring out the best of the soft natural style. So here are some more recent looks of Ellen looking just as wonderful. Again, simplicity and texture and a body skimming style. It's a phenomenal kind of formula for her. So here in this white on white outfit, I just love how this really buttery leather jacket hugs the shape of her shoulders, so she doesn't need shoulder support. She looks great when she embraces the natural sloping of her shoulders, especially because it further elongates her neck, and she has a very long neck and a much more delicately sized head in proportion to her body. So that's a really important point for her. And then the rest of the outfit just cleanly outlines her body, and it's simple, but there's some texture to it. Here with this long coat, again, her shoulders are embraced in their natural shape. A close fit of the long coat helps to accommodate her elongation and her narrowness, and you can see the shape of her limbs with the outfit on underneath. And here, kind of the same thing with the jacket. Her shoulders are emphasized. We have this lovely shimmery kind of rough fabric of the top underneath, and she just looks very effortless. So on this side, we have two outfits that showcase accommodation of yin versus two outfits that accommodate yang more. So soft naturals have more yin to them, so they really need to favor that in order to bring out the beauty of their body, which has a yin undercurrent. So here, simple dresses, simple outfits, simple cuts with body skimming, draping fabrics that really caress and hug every twist and turn of her shoulder, of her soft chest, and of her rib cage and waist, and just softly outlining her delicately curved hips. Very simple, this black dress, just that's it. That's all she really needs. She looks great in simple, sleek styles as long as she allows her sensuality to be embraced and highlighted. And here, just a little ruching, just a little bit of that textured embroidery. It's perfect. Now here, this outfit is not embracing her small waist, and it's hiding the tapering of her hips, and it's just creating this big rectangular block up top. So it's obviously not as sensual, and it's not as accommodating of her curves. It's obscuring a lot of her contours. And here, this is a lovely fabric on the top, but it's just a little too oversized in the armholes, and it's just a little too oversized at the waist, that it's just emphasizing the elongation of her top half without emphasizing the contours. So you can emphasize elongation as long as you also take into consideration your strong angles in your body. So here, just another example of that. On the left, we have this gorgeous red dress that just shows off her figure. And here we have a long dress that really rounds out or waters down or obscures both her shoulders, her arms, her chest, her waist, and her hips. This dress really favors straightness and elongation and doesn't really accommodate her other features. Here we have a little study on balancing yin. There's like a sweet spot. So on the left, we have this gorgeous outfit. It has a more like linear print, but that is not the dominant aspect of the outfit. The dominant aspect is the shape and the lovely way it just highlights her lovely figure. Look at this amazing waist definition and these beautiful rounded lapels, just gorgeous. Now here, this red pantsuit favors more sharpness and more elongation and not enough of that tapering, so not enough yin. And here, this one is just too much yin with too much of that intricate, delicate detail, too much of that flimsy kind of mesh material, too much draping, not enough of that strategic kind of structure in any of the key points like the shoulders or the waist or the hips. It's just a little too weak in terms of the fabric strength, so it's not really giving any structure or shape. So one more thing to note is that shape has to be proportional. So just because an item has this beautifully angled or tapered quality to it doesn't mean the whole item reads like that on your body. So here we have these gorgeous body skimming halter neck angles going on. Here this lovely plunging narrower v-neck, very proportional shoulders and lapels, as opposed to on the right this more wide, I guess more boxy leather jacket that is just imposing too much broadness on her more narrow frame. Here is just a reminder that you do have a range. Just because Ellen looks great, and I would say the best in more sleek looks, she also looks great in patterns, as long as the patterns are like spice to her outfit and aren't trying to dominate the outfit. So little doses of moderate, medium size, potentially abstract or geometrically irregular prints. That's great, but monotone looks awesome as well. So again, you have a range, and even if you have one particular style that you love to wear all the time, you can wear other things too. So that was my video for you today. I will see you in the next one. Bye.